Hello, folks. We have traveled quite a far in this journey of building chatbot from scratch. And you must be wondering how to see a chatbot in action to have a conversation with a real human being. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use our trained model to process the intents. That is, I will be creating a response processor using which if and user asks a question, then chatbot will respond with an appropriate answer. And by the end of this video, you will be able to understand the technical details of how chatbot works when provided with questions. So please note that these responses will be context free, and I'm going to cover the context related responses in the next video. So keep watching this video and subsequent video till the end. Hey, what's up, folks? This is Nitin welcoming you to AI University channel where you can learn all your favorite digital technologies like machine learning, deep learning, AI, big data, Hadoop, virtual reality, and cloud computing. So if you are new here, then consider clicking or subscribing to this channel. Or if you have already subscribed, then click on the bell icon to receive the notifications about the hottest technologies of 21st century. So without wasting much time, let's move on to the coding part. So in the upcoming section, we are going to build a state machine to handle the responses using intents model as our classifier. So in order to do that, we need to restore all of our data structure by loading our pickle file named training data. So that's what I'm doing here. So in the previous video, we just saved all of our data structure in this particular file, which is training data file. And now I'm kind of restoring all those data structures here. So this is what I'm doing in this particular cell. Okay, and in next cell I'm reading the intents file once again here. Okay, and in this subsequent section or cell, which is this one, okay, I'm loading our saved model, which was named as model.tflearn. Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next cell. Now, in order to begin processing intents, we need a way to produce a bag of words from user inputs. So user will be providing inputs in just plain English text, and we need to produce a bag of words from those user inputs. So we are utilizing these two functions here. Number one is clean up sentences, and number two is bag of words. Okay, so we are utilizing these two functions in the this particular cell to do that stuff. Okay, and using the first function, we are just tokenizing and stemming the sentences. So you can very well see here. Okay, so I'm taking the sentence as a input parameter, passing that input sentence into this function, and then using this word tokenization, I'm just tokenizing the words, and in the next sentence or the next line of code, I'm just stemming the sentences from the cleaning perspective. Okay, and in this next function, which is BOW, bag of words, okay, in the next function, I'm just creating a bag of words array for each word we have in the bag, okay, and which exists in the sentence. Okay, please note that we used these same techniques earlier to create our training documents. Okay, so you are now familiar with it, right? So here you can see in the first line, I'm just calling this cleanup sentence function, which is defined here. Okay, and then in the next subsequent lines, okay, you can see using these lines of code, I'm just generating the bag of words. Okay, and then returning that as a array. Here you can see that I'm returning that bag of word as array. Okay, because machine always understands the numbers, numerical values, and not the actual English words. So we need to convert them into an array. Okay, so now let's start building our response processor here. So this, using this code, we are going to build our response processor, And here in the cell, I'm first setting up the error threshold value as 0.30. Okay, and this is required in order to filter out the predictions below this threshold value. So we don't need any prediction which has the value probability value below 0.30. And in the next cell, I'm basically utilizing this classify function. Okay, I'm creating this function to classify each sentence passed through this function and generate a corresponding probability. Okay, so I'm taking a sentence as an argument. You can see here. Okay, that is, any specific sentence will be an input to this function. So inside this function, I'm first generating the probability using our model. You can see here. So I'm using our model, okay, to basically predict the or generate the corresponding probability. And I'm taking a sentence as an argument, that is, uh, you can see here, right? So you can see that sentence is given as an argument. Okay. All right. So next in the next line, I'm just filtering out the basically predictions. So here you can see in this particular line of code, I'm just filtering out all the predictions which are below this threshold value, okay, which is defined here. And in the next line, I'm just sorting out all the probabilities by their respective strength. Okay, so these line of codes. Okay, and this is required in order to in fact, see what are the highest strength probabilities in the sorted order. Okay, so I'm kind of sorting all these probabilities by the respective strength here. And lastly, here I just incorporated this for loop. Okay, to read each intent or class and its corresponding probability in order to store them as tuples. So here I'm just creating a tuple. So this is a tuple, and just to give you an idea, tuple is always enclosed in brackets. Okay, and it has two values in, or maybe one. So depends upon what kind of uh, structure you want to define. So here we have two values inside a tuple. Okay, which has intent of class and its corresponding probability, which is this one. Okay, now in the next cell, I'm defining, not next cell, in fact, in this same cell, I have defined this response function, which has an input parameter or the argument as sentence, which we are going to provide as an input, and an anonymous user ID, which we are going to use later on when we are going to assign some context to our chatbot conversation. Okay, and then there is a show details flag, which I kept as false. Okay, so inside this function, I'm just first classifying the sentence, picking up probabilities which are beyond threshold. Okay, so here using this function which was defined above. Okay, so same function. And if let us say, so I have included this if statement here. So if this function returns classification value, then we are finding out matching intent using a for loop here. Okay, matching a finding out the matching value using a for loop here. Okay, and if the match is found, then it is returning the corresponding response from the intent. Okay, so if the match is found, here I'm checking the match. Okay, and if that match is found, then it is returning the corresponding response from the intent. Okay, and one thing to note here is that we get a list of classification as a stack. Okay, list of classifications as a stack from classify function. So we pop off the stack looking for a suitable match until we find one or until we find one, in fact, one match, or if it is empty. So what I'm trying to say is, so we pop off the stack looking for suitable match until we find one, or if it is empty. So results.pop0 is being used here. This one, okay, is being used here to pop off the stack. Okay. So next, let's move on to the next cell. So here in the next cell, I'm using the classify function to get the most likely tag and its probability. So I just gave a question to this classify function, which was what are your hours of operation. So it gave me a tag, which is a most likely tag, and an associated probability value with that tag. Okay, so this result is returned in the form of tuple, as we discussed earlier. So it is returned in the form of tuple here. Okay, one thing to notice here is that this particular question, what are your hours of operation, okay, is not one of the patterns for this intent. So let me open my intents file and let me tell you what I'm trying to say here. So if you see, so what I'm trying to say here is that uh, this particular question is not included in one, or not included as one of the pattern for this intent. So if you see this intent associated with this tag hours, you can see the question is what hours are you open, which is not matching with this one. What are your hours of operation? The next one is what are your hours, which is also not matching with this question. And then again, third one is when are you open, okay, which is also not, in fact, uh, not matching with this particular. So when I provided, when I provided this question to this chatbot gave me an answer as our hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, which was this particular response given, correct? But you can see very well that this question was not listed here in this pattern list, right? So it actually recognized this particular pattern and provided me an appropriate answer. Okay, so I posed a question to a chatbot using this response function. What are your hours of operation? And chatbot gave me an answer saying that our hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, when this question was not listed in this particular pattern. So our model correctly identified the pattern and responded back with a appropriate answer, which was in fact a right answer, right? So I have also asked one more question from the chatbot using this response processor, and the question was what is menu for today. Okay, so which was menu for today, and it is somewhere here. Okay, so what is menu for today? Okay, so it gave me an answer. Our specialty for today is chicken tikka, which is a right answer provided by chatbot. So this chatbot again, you know, identified this particular question in the form of a pattern, and then provided an appropriate answer here. Our specialty for today is chicken tikka. Okay, and you can see there are some other context free responses. All these responses are context free. Okay, and I'm going to cover contextual responses in the next section or next video. So you can see I posed these questions. Do you accept credit card? Okay, and my chatbot responded back saying that we accept Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. Again, I asked my chatbot, where can we locate you? So my chatbot provided me an answer saying that we are situated at intersection of London Alley and Bridge Avenue, which was the right answer in fact. Okay, and then lastly you can see that there are other responses to this particular. In fact, this is not a question, but it was just an information for a chatbot saying that the information he provided was helpful, and chatbot responses responded back saying that happy to help. So kind of an emotional factor is also added here. And when I said bye, it gave me a response. The chatbot gave me a response saying that see you later, thanks for visiting. So you can see my chatbot is pretty much answering me in an appropriate manner here. Okay, so folks, this is it for this video. To conclude, I explained how to build a response processor of chatbot so that chatbot can respond to human queries. And you saw very well here that I asked few questions to my chatbot, and it responded back very beautifully with the appropriate answers. Okay. So let me ask you a question from today's video. So what is the usage of introducing error threshold in the response processor? Please post your comments in the comment section given below so that I can get a chance to incorporate your feedback. And you can also ask your technical questions in the comment section. I will be glad to answer your questions. So if you're watching this video and you're not already a subscriber to our channel, consider clicking that little subscribe button. And in case you have already subscribed, then click on bell icon to receive the notifications whenever I will release a new video. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I will be covering next topic in the upcoming videos. So keep on watching. Thank you.